What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I had no intention of making another video today. In fact, I was in bed, I just finished my Dreaming Spanish grind, and I was about to watch some movies in Chinese when I started getting more and more pings on one of my recent videos. And these pings, because I get like a little segment of the comments, they kind of shocked me because it was about the fact that someone I've reviewed before has completely blown away their internet presence. So, who do you think it is? Do you think it's Akram? Do you think it's Kaio, or however his name is said? Do you think it's any one of them? No, unfortunately, it is the guy who I reviewed in this video. It's called What the Fuck Is This? Seriously 300 Hours of Spanish Input. And it's this guy here, okay? So he had a YouTube channel where he had uploaded several videos about his progress using Dreaming Spanish, and in his 300-hour update, he presented his Spanish progression, saying that this is what he had achieved with just pure 300 hours of input. And I call bullshit on it because realistically, it was way further ahead than what I'm at, around 300 hours, okay? I'm not around 300 hours yet, that's a lie. I'm around 240 or something like that. But anyway, like, it just seemed completely unrealistic for a 300-hour update. I made a video, I call bullshit. I wanted to know more. Is there more related to what you actually did? Because if there's actually a way to more efficiently use ALG or Dreaming Spanish, hell, I want to do it, okay? So my video was two-part. One, is this actually true? Are you like bullshitting online, for likes type of thing? And two, if it is actually true, then what the hell did you do? Now, my comment section pretty quickly filled up with like a 95 to 5% ratio, with 95% of people calling bullshit themselves. A large portion of those are actually people who are following me for the Dreaming Spanish Challenge and doing Dreaming Spanish themselves. Some are 300, 800, 1,000, a vast range of people all saying, yeah, no, this seems completely unrealistic. And then, of course, you got the 5% who are like, yeah, no, I can believe this type of thing. But realistically, obviously, it swung in one very specific direction of, bro, there's definitely more going on here. What's going on? Now, my comment section, obviously, the people, they started to explore his online presence in YouTube, looking into his previous videos to find out if there was more involved. And yes, there was. Now, I had no intention of making a follow-up video about this because I deemed it to be so unimportant to, realistically the online polyglot YouTube space, because this is not like a guy who was selling courses or anything like that. He's not a big name YouTuber. So I figured it was just like, okay, so it's a guy who over embellished or left out a lot of information. Realistically, not that uncommon on this platform. Anyway, so apparently he'd done like an 8 or a 9 hour speaking course. Like, that's something he publicly stated before, early on, but he stopped saying later on. He's played video games quite a bit in Spanish. He's done like passive stuff outside the platform, which probably he didn't track, but essentially there was more involved. And when I started reading the comments about this and looking into it myself, I was like, okay, well, now I know. That's pretty much it. I don't care anymore. Obviously, it isn't just the 300 hours that made you to this point. There was more involved. So realistically, it doesn't really matter to me anymore. It's not going to affect my plans for, Dreaming Spanish moving forward. That was the end of it for me. But then the guy had to go away and completely obliterate his online presence. So, like, this is my pinned comment here, okay? So previously, the pinned comment was actually his comment because he came to my channel, left a comment, and the comment was quite angry. But essentially, first he was like, yeah, no, I'm not trying to be a big YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm not making, like custom thumbnails and shit like you. I'm not like a slop tuber or whatever. And I was like, yeah, forget about all that. Is this what you did? Because, like, I've been insulted enough times. I don't care, okay? Like, I don't care about the insults. I just want to get to the core of the matter of, is this all you did? Like, can I make my ALG Dreaming Spanish, path more efficient? Because I don't want to do this and make it look bad. Like, I want to optimize ALG to the best that I can in order to progress the best that I can, okay? I want to show you what's completely capable with this method if you follow it properly. And if there's optimizations to be had, I will take those optimizations. So that's what I was digging into, and then there was no follow-up comments, and I figured, okay, well, that's pretty much it. But it turns out a couple of hours ago, he blew away his channel. If I click on that link, channel doesn't exist anymore. Now, I was like, whoa, okay, this is the first time this has ever happened. In fact, I wish more of the people that I reviewed that were actual frauds, like, I'm not even saying this guy's a fraud, like actual frauds, deleted their channels. But for some strange reason, they will sit there straight to my face and tell me, I'm a fluent speaker of Chinese, I'm a translator, I'm a goddamn friggin' teacher, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you can't even say ni hao correctly. What the fuck are you on about, man? Like, those are the people I want to delete their channels. Because those are the absolute real frauds selling courses and shit like this. This guy was just some dude who over-embellished his online, presence. Like, I don't even know if that's true. Maybe it was 300 hours. But, well, obviously it's not, because there was the speaking and stuff like that. But, like, it's not like it was a big lie. Something that you should be blowing away your presence for. Now, additionally, in my comment section, I got told that this guy was, like, super active on the Dreaming Spanish subreddit. So I jumped across because, like, people had sent me links and stuff about, like, his updates. And it turns out he also blew away his goddamn Dreaming Spanish subreddit account. Okay, now I don't know if that Reddit account was just for Dreaming Spanish or like for other things, but this is kind of insane. Someone who's usually really active on a subreddit kind of cherishes, I know this is a weird thing to say, but they kind of cherish their posts and, all the karma and stuff that they've got. Realistically, I don't care, but like a lot of people do. And he's made a lot of comments in the past, but now he's deleted his account. Like, bro, this is just gone. And the last comment I think ever was just, maybe this was what set him off. I don't know. But like someone said, congrats, Evildea made a video about you. And then he said, never thought I'd end up in a low effort reaction video, lol. And then about 4 hours ago, this was 3 days ago, 4 hours ago, he blew away all his socials. So I kind of feel bad about this, realistically, because I don't think this is like a good enough reason to blow away your socials. There's only two reasons why I could like think that this would be why you would do it. One, because you just can't take, the online heat. And if that's the case, then okay, fine, I get it. You don't want to be like engaged in any type of controversy or any like real attention. That's fine. Like, I respect that. That's cool, man. But maybe also there was something more going on that I'm not aware about. Like, beyond what I've spoken about. But now I feel even bad saying that because, like, I feel like, realistically, I'm starting to feel like this is just a situation of many little lies built up in his mind to a big lie. And he thought that was, like, that had to be, like, he had to just get rid of all proof online, okay? But for me, even if I found out later on he did like 3 years of Spanish at high school or something like that, okay? Even if I found that out later on, I'd be like, okay, some little YouTube channel over exaggerated what they managed to achieve in 300 hours. Like, this was recoverable, realistically. He could have just sat there and said, yeah, no, I just didn't think the 3 years of Spanish at school were like of any use because I couldn't speak any Spanish. And I would have been like, that's okay. Do you know how many times people have said this to me? I would totally believe that. Because that happens all the time in the comment section. People say to me, this is what I achieved with 600 hours. And I'm like, really? You managed to do that in 600? You never did anything else outside Dreaming Spanish. And if I dig a little bit, they generally say stuff like, oh, well, I had Spanish at school. Or, I live in a Spanish-speaking area and everyone speaks Spanish and stuff. And I'll be like, okay, so there is more involved there. Like, guys, I'm coming at this from Australia. There ain't no Spanish here. Okay, like nothing at all. So you got to take that into account when I go through this journey that I don't have whatever like history you have prior to Dreaming Spanish. So yeah, this is just strange that he blew away this presence. Okay, now he hasn't completely obliterated himself from the internet because he actually has another YouTube channel. But I'm not gonna don't go try look for it, guys. Okay, it's got nothing to do with languages or anything like that. So there's no point like even looking into that. But I do know that he's blown away his Dreaming Spanish online presence. Everything to do with that is gone. Everything external to that is still there. So obviously he doesn't want to talk about this anymore. But I made this video because I'm going to put this video right here at the end of my previous one because if people keep pinging me about, hey bro, what happened? Where's his channel gone? Like, yeah, I don't know. And I guess we shouldn't really try to find out because he doesn't want us to know. So, yeah. Like, kind of feel bad about that one. Realistically, of all the channels out there, why did it have to be the one guy who just, exaggerated a tiny bit? Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video.